My name is Jaz Henry. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I'm a mixed media photographer, I like to say, because I like to work with all types of photography. I mainly focus on non-silver photography, which is like cyanotypes, calotypes, basic like old school photographic prints. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say cyanotype, can you tell us a little bit about the process and what that means, and how is it different from regular photography?
Cyanotypes are like its original photographic printing. So when they first started doing photography, they had to come up with, it was just a bunch of chemical methods. And cyanotypes, called cyanotypes because it comes out as a cyan blue, but pretty much you mix chemicals together and you just print them in the sun. So it's also doubled as sun printing. It's pretty basic printing. The most you're gonna see of the work is of plant life, because it's a lot of contact printing, so you can, it's basing working off of the shadows. So what I do is I create negatives digitally, create digital collages, use my work, found imagery, stuff like that, and make a collage and then print that as a negative, and then in return print that using this process. I take this positive and I invert it, make it into a negative, print it on a transparency, on a sheet of transparency. Okay. And that's just basically my negative.
And then the sun shines
through it, and what's going to happen is it's going to turn it blue. So pretty much I apply this emulsion. It's a mixture of two chemicals, which I can't really even go into. It's like ammonium ferric oxalate and stuff like that. Yeah, and I coat the paper, let it dry. It's light sensitive, not overly light sensitive, but it reacts to UV light. Take that outside and I time it accordingly. It's usually on a beautiful day, how it was like really sunny today. It'd probably only be like 30 seconds. But it all depends on like the depth of the negative itself, stuff like that. Print it, bring it back inside, and I rinse it with water. And I just use my bathtub, stuff like that. And rinse it with water and it'll turn blue. And there you go.
So how did you come across cyanotypes? Because I don't think I'd ever seen it until I saw your work.
Really?
Or, I never really noticed it, as an art form.
I guess it was in college, because in Santa Fe, the main thing that they have there, other than like all arts, is non-silver photography. They focus on alternative photography. So even where I get my chemicals from is from Santa Fe. The major company and the supplier is in Santa Fe. So when I was in college going to school for photography, broke as fuck, college student, no money, and I was doing photography, which is always my main love, and working in a darkroom is unbelievably expensive. I wanted to find another outlet of printing my negatives, but in a much cheaper way. And this was the easiest, cheapest way possible. And then I could actually take my imagery, make other imagery from that, and print it large scale, way cheaper. Like way cheaper it is to print it in a darkroom. Like printing large scale is just not really possible if you're broke. So this was like the easiest way I could actually get that across.
Well, and how long have you been doing this? Like how long have you,
I guess it's been like 7 years now that I've like focused, that it's been like my main focus.
So would you say that you're still learning certain things about it, or that you've mastered the art of
I think I not really. I guess there's certain things like toning. There's certain toning methods. Like I do have some pieces that I've worked with, and toning is really easy. You can use coffee, teas. Right now, I'm trying to figure out working with wine tannins, because with wine tannins, I could still get an almost eggplant color, so it could look black and white without toning my whites. And that's usually the main problem with images that are toned. Your whites are going to come out somewhat like chocolate brown, something like that, and I don't want that. That's like the main thing I want. So, and I could work with other processes like calotypes, are a cheaper platinum palladium prints. Platinum palladium prints are ridiculously expensive and pretty harsh.
The word alone,
sounds
crazy.
Super expensive. The calotypes are a cheaper process, but it's also a longer process. Like you have 4 to 5 different baths you have to put the print through. This is literally boom, boom, boom. There you go. I'm totally done.
Oh.
You know, and I think I can express my work differently with the effect from the blue. You know, it took me a while. And I feel like it also takes people a while to look at the blue, and they're like, oh, it's so fucking blue, you know. But I think that it shows a lot with the work itself, and it's aesthetically pleasing as well, the color blue.
What do you think it is about photography that you pursued? Like, I don't know, what draws you to photography as opposed to like painting or sculpting?
I guess it's a way of capturing time. A lot, you know, especially the process of time too. Because painting, you can capture things definitely, but you're not capturing it on the spot. A lot of painters use imagery and reflect back to it and stuff like that. It's like you can create a painting within a camera, and I think that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but I totally understand the use of a camera as a way of like opening your eyes to the world around you.
Do you always have images in your mind planned, or like, I don't know, what inspires you to create? Or
I definitely build sometimes off of ideas, but I never start off with a basic idea or a basic concept. I do have a lot of more females in my work, but as a female, I guess that pretty much comes natural in certain ways. I do use a lot of like alchemy and mysticism in my work, but I guess that also comes from like this like hardcore religious background and, you know, your loss of religion and such. But I kind of try to focus on building out of like nothing, and just kind of like a lot of my work are just like layers and layers and layers. Some will take me minutes to do, and some will just take me hours and days. You know,
okay, you mentioned like mysticism. So are you, when you use these certain symbols, are you trying to send a message, or do you just like the idea of like...
I just love them. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautifully artistic. You know, a lot of the old school mystic ideas, or even like present day, like symbology. Like symbology is beautiful. We can never get away from it. It's like ingrained in our heads too. So when people see certain things, they're like circles and triangles and stuff like that, people automatically have a connection to it. It's everywhere around us. And I definitely feel like I do a lot of stuff that are like morphed imagery of like inner sides of people. You know, a lot of stuff like kind of like x-rays, stuff like that, where it's just like another layer of a person. Because, you know, like, everyone is totally different on the inside. You never know who the fuck anybody is until you actually know who they are, kind of thing. And so I think a lot of my work, it's like duplicates of people, or like reflections on the inside. So I suppose I definitely went through this huge phase where I was crazy about like x-rays. And I worked in like an animal hospital, and I would just like sell all these animal x-rays. People would give me x-rays and stuff, and I was just like, yes, x-rays. So great.
So if you had, say, one or two places that you could put your work, where would that be? Do you have any places in mind?
There's this great gallery in Soho. It's called Soho Gallery, and they mainly focus on alternative photography as well as like Lomo photography, which is another thing that I totally specify in, and that's one place that I've been just like, every time they have a show, I'm just like, please let me in your show, but it's really hard to get in any of their shows.
Where is it?
It's in New York.
Okay, it is.
Yeah. And it's just like ridiculously hard to get into this goddamn show. And any of their shows, but I'm just like, I'm never gonna stop. This is one place that I really want to be a part of. There's certain galleries that I've heard of and that I see that are more forward and with surreal art and mixed media art as well, but I can't really name too much off the top of my head, I guess. But definitely Soho Gallery is the one that's like that's on the mind. But I'd also like, right now too, I'm also thinking more about like residencies and figuring out a way of like finding a residency, a way of just like focusing on my art for like 6 months instead of like working all the time, you know, and that's pretty hard too, because I'm like, how far do I go from home? as well for residency. Like, should I step all the way outside of Houston to find residencies, since we only have so many that you can apply to here? But I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna find some kind of residency program. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, so I see you posting stuff online. Can you tell people where they can get a glimpse of your work?
Okay, let's see. All right, on that social media kick, I got an Instagram. That's Jaz Henry Art. I've got a website. It's called jazhenry.com. You can buy, right now, the only place you can buy like digital prints of my actual digital collages is Society 6, which is under Jaz Henry Art. You can buy limited edition prints of my Cyanotypes at Etsy.com, which is under Etsy.com/shop/Real Art by Jaz Henry. And that's pretty much about it. Yeah, that's what I got.
So what words would you give to people who are maybe just starting out in their creative endeavors, or who want to start taking photographs or painting or anything in general?
I guess it's just totally do it. I feel, in my opinion, that education is really important, and that, you know, you can't just pick up a camera and expect to know how to use it, you know, especially when in like a digital age. You know, it's a lot of like iPhone photography and stuff like that, and it's like, it takes skill, and I think it takes skill, and it takes time, and like education as well. So like, totally take classes on that shit. You want to know how to do it, totally take some fucking classes, because I wouldn't have known to do anything if I didn't waste years in college, you know. But it's also like, don't let the fear of failure kind of slow you down, because that will happen. That will happen, of like, why am I doing this? Why should I keep on doing this? Like, you're gonna have those questions, and just kind of get to wake up and just get over it. Pretty much. That's all I can say.